Okay, so now that I have my flat pack stuff updated and my drivers and such, if you remember a bit ago, I was showing off, Ollama and running Llama 3. I'd done asked the model to basically create me an item. So, actually, let's go Starfinder item. So I asked it to create an item, and in the thumbnail of that video, I'd kind of done a couple things. I'd shown generated a whole RPG, right? So since we can generate items with it, oh, what I also did somewhere in the middle of the video is I'm like, I wonder if I could have it generate a whole RPG for me. So not only is your model capable of generating items for you for specific games, but I've gone through and over about 3-4 hours of hamstringing my graphics card, I generated a whole game with a bunch of other things for it. And I copied it all into Obsidian. I did some reformatting and things like that. So it was a sci-fi one, and basically I was looking for something more lightweight when I did it. And so what it came up with was story beats as a thing, aspects as a character's abilities and things, action points and different combat mechanics. You've got the combat system, which once I got deeper into it, it seemed to drop this whole heat level thing. But yeah. Aspect based attacks, heat related effects. I mean, you could still implement heat somehow. I would have to refine that down the road. And then action point management. So yeah. So it came up with these different things, which I haven't quite seen mixed together. I've gone through and read through a lot of different RPG material, and I haven't quite seen the heat aspect. I've seen some of the churn aspects, Fate or some of the games systems like that will use. So the Expanse has the tabletop RPG and it uses churn. I think it's based on the Fate system, but yeah. Then there's the structure of it, scenes, turns, resolution, gameplay. Let's see. Group of explorers stumble upon an abandoned research facility on its planet. They use their AP to scan. Okay, so this is a gameplay example that it came up with. So this is kind of the first sheet that I had it come up with, in essence. And this was from one prompt to develop a lightweight sci-fi tabletop RPG. And the name it came up with was Starfall with 2+ players. It's got some generic tips and what all additional resources. It's funny it came up with a comprehensive rule book detailing the mechanics and so on, when that book hadn't been generated already, and pre-gen characters, and then online forums, since there aren't any online forums based around this as far as I know. No. I will note I did have an a generated art cover built for it. That'll be important in a second, but so then going over it later on, I'm like, okay, I don't have a good detailed way of doing checks. We come up with checks, rolling the dice. So you're rolling d6 for your skill checks. And it's a single d6. So your skills are going to be plus or minus whatever. And then you go into combat, and this is where things get interesting. Is we dig into combat a little bit. So we're going to do initiative roll, and it's a d20 for your initiative for turn order. And so we get, and in order to attack, you're rolling a d20 as well, which is interesting. And then, yeah, you're going against your agility score, and you've got your basic 1, 2, or whatever skills. So your skills end up being their direct modifier skills, basically. So whatever your skill is, that's your modifier. Kind of like stars without numbers, cities without number, worlds without number. It's a direct modifier system. Oh, combat resolution initiative rolls determine who goes first. Characters use their abilities, attacks, and skills to defend against enemies. Rolls are based on the character's relevant attribute score. So, like, I think that's where a d6 would come in. Combat continues until all enemies are defeated or player characters die. So then I'm like, okay, doesn't really detail damage. So tell me how to calculate damage. And so we've got different damage stuff. So when you, depending on the attribute or skill type you're going for, you roll a 6-sided die and so on and so forth. So like let's see, yeah. Got a varying number of stuff going on, but yeah, a random number is generated using a d20 to add to the attack power and so on. So it's very basic. I haven't gone over too much of it, but again, this is like me talking to my graphics card, asking for stuff like this for it to come up with. So like here you've got the Stellar Scourge, but yeah. Let's see, what's damage, piercing, single shot, energy cell. Yeah. But so that's combat. Character creation is where things got really kind of interesting because let's see. So here's the character creation process. So when going through this, I had to like coax it into giving me more details. So you choose your species. It came up with a few different species for it. Oh, you determine your attributes. It's got 6 of them. It seemed to steal from Into the Odd a little bit. And then, other standard tabletop RPGs otherwise. And then you've got your range of 1 to 5, so you can't just do 6 and automatically beat every roll per se, straight up with just your skill. Oh, selecting your skills. Let's see, you choose a skill that fits your character's background, personality, or concept. So you've got a custom skill set you could put together. You develop your traits. And notice there's no talk of aspects in here. And so when diving deeper into it, it seemed that like traits aspects got rolled into traits a little bit. So if we go into HP, your HP is calculated interestingly. So you've got your endurance score. So you've got a 1 to 2 is low, endurance 3 is moderate, and 4 to 5 is high. So depending on that, you get 10, 15, or 20 HP. There's no rolling. It's just, okay, what's my endurance at? If it's a 3, I get 15 HP. That's it. So then you've got recovery options, resting, medical treatment, and skills and abilities. Of course, basic stuff for taking care of your things that way. Let's see, HP thresholds. Yeah, it's already gone over that. So the races are very interesting. So you've got your standard human, and we had to come up with characteristic bonuses for each race because, hey, what kind of bonuses do I get for picking a certain race? Because we know that every standard RPG has a thing for its races and bonuses, strengths and weaknesses, and so on. So we pretty much got all the pluses. There were no like minuses that I came up with because of the way I asked the question, I think. But yeah. So your energy beings, for example, get +2 mind and +2 spirit, and +2 to analysis and +1 to logic. And then you've also sometimes got a special ability that goes along with it. So then I had it come up with some skills that we could go off of. So like you've got blade fighting, gunner, hand-to-hand combat, melee defense, engineering, hacking, inventor, repair, social, and so on. So you've got like 20 skills. let's see. There are over 20 skills that you can develop. Here's a list of the skills. So it's not over 20, it's exactly 20, but this is what the model came up with. My graphics card. So then there are occupations as well. So this helps flesh out your background. You've got an astronaut, a bounty hunter, a colonist, an engineer, exobiologist, and so on. So, hacker, scientific researcher, these all matter, apparently. And then here are your different aspects that probably roll in as your traits. You've got aerial ace, alien linguistics, leader stuff, inventors, problem solver, and so on. So then what I had to do also is come up with equipment. And I, of course, didn't want to do that. So instead, you ask the model to do it for you. And some of these items, I had to get it to flesh out for me, like the different things that it did. And again, it only gave me bonuses because of the way I asked the question. So, like, you've got your lightweight armors, your medium weight armors, special stuff that goes along with those different kinds of armors, specialized armors, cybernetic armors as well. And then it gave me a list of items again down here, leather jacket, synthetic vest. These can all be like consolidated into one later on with formatting, but I was pretty lazy about it and just trying to like sort things out and copy and paste things. Basic items, blade, firearms, gadgets. It didn't come up with very much, but it's stuff. Your trinkets that like are pretty fun to mess with. You've got trinkets like coins or whatever, a sentimental item sometimes, or what have you, that give you special abilities. Your different weapons, gravity gauntlets, like ridiculous stuff. Oh, let's see. Laser lasso. Handheld laser device that can entangle and immobilize enemies, making it perfect for capturing and disarming opponents. More specialized stuff like acid spray, your cybernetic weapons, and then again another set of weapons that can be kind of like squashed up into its other stuff. The part where the model got really interesting, well, is the pre-gen characters, but I did have it come up with enemies. So there aren't any stats on these enemies, but it gives you an idea of the things you can run into, and they're just 10 of the enemies. So Stellar Beasts, Necromancers, because for some reason Sci-Fi has Necromancers. Mindworms, because that's important. Dreadnought Pirates, of course. Cyber Beasts, you know, that kind of thing. Rogue AI entities that have developed a twisted sense of self-preservation, seeking to destroy all organic life in the galaxy. You know, driven exterminators. Okay. So getting the pre-gen characters, let's see. So when it came up with characters, it had no stats, but it gave me cool names. And so I was trying to work with the same named characters, and you'll notice over the evolution of it, some of the character names and things shift as we go. So we had 5 characters initially. Oh. Then we add in like aspects to the characters. It kind of like gave names and then like aspects that each character had. And then here's like, oh, I didn't get it to do that. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. So going to the characters here. So I went through multiple iterations with this set of characters because this is what I got at first. I got your stats and then your special abilities, or your aspects, I guess, basically. So I had 10 characters. So you've got Commander Nova on down to like Psionic Ares or Mercenary Cygnus, Scientist Andromeda, so on. So then I need like a little bit more to work with. So Commander Nova got the special abilities laid out, equipment, skills, and things like that. But notice that we're missing our charisma stat. And I think I noticed that. So yeah. And then you notice Exosuit just shows up here as a role, as a character, which kind of really like, what? So yeah. iteration 3, we got our charisma, we got our equipment, our skills, and then but we only got a few of our characters. We got it a little bit more fleshed out once and all of our characters covered after that. So we've got, let's see, who did Exosuit end up? Yeah, Exosuit. I don't know. It was weird. Exosuit shows up as a character. It's a character now. You notice that some of the roles ended up like generalizing more so. Soldier Sirius was like not in here before. Let's double check. Auriga, Andromeda, Regal, Auriga, Cassiopeia, Andromeda, Cygnus. Yeah, see? So we probably got Sirius from Cygnus or something like that. Cassiopeia, Altair, Orion, Engineer, Soldier Lyra, Andromeda's AI. Like, there was... Where did that come from? I don't know. But we got 10 characters in general. Because I had to coax it after it, like, generated 3 of them to be like, okay, now give me the rest of the characters. And so here we are. So that's our pre-gen characters. Now, of course, I could have written my own adventure for it. But why do that when I can have it do it for me? So you've got the missing researcher on Celestial Station, and both of these are like, that it generated are vaguely like connected. So you've got a few NPCs that list, the quests that come along with this one shot is what it's supposed to be. And then the first bit basically ended right here. So you got quest, NPCs, a little bit of setting about it, and that's about it. But then I wanted some other things like, okay, what's the goal here? What's going on? Okay, so we've got like, okay, here's how the adventure ends and what you find out, because that's important to know how things are supposed to end and whether you find the researcher that you're looking for. So, and then it's like, well, you're going to find hints throughout it. It's okay, so give me some like hints or notes, journal entries, and so on. And then we get that right here that it came up with. And then the mysterious energy signature. Well, tell me about a little bit more about that. And then what clues do you find about that as well? How do you discover that time signature? Now, what options do I have for fixing the life support systems? And so on, so that every quest is covered. And then the more challenging one is the Lost Colony of Aurora. Oh. So I believe I generated this one first, and then the other one came in later on, maybe. But it kind of like the story didn't quite stay totally coherent. But again, you had the same situation where you generated the same stuff, so I had to come in. Okay, what's our goal here? We get a list of clues that it gives. And then, like, fixing the burst pipe, you've got a couple options for fixing that up. How, like, where was the pipe burst? How is it broken? And then the gravity generator, that's malfunctioning, and so on. And then our energy anomaly, which you find out in one of the quests here, Decode the Strange Energy Signature, is from our other adventure. And so that's linked right here as well. So, all in all, can you generate a tabletop RPG from with the AI? Yeah, you can. And the best part is you can actually go and download the source material for yourself as well. So here on Drive-Thru RPG, it's not, let me see, newest since last visit, personalized suggestions. It's not going to show up here, but so if I go into my publisher tools, you can see that you can download the raw source material in PDF format from here. I don't think I uploaded the Oh, I don't think I uploaded the markdown files from Obsidian into it. But yeah, there's the cover. There's everything. We can go. So right here, download it for yourself. It's pay what you want. And so you can like select $2, $1, and so on. Or even like pay even more if you feel like it. You get the source material. It tells me that like you would like to see it refined, oddly enough, because I am thinking about like smoothing out the rough edges in it. But if you think that would be interesting, then you can go ahead, buy the source material, and that'll tell me like how much you want it. I've like seen a bunch of like downloads. I haven't seen any reviews on it. Just, well, 3-star rating. So there's that. But anyway, he doesn't give money for AI art. But anyway, that's the deal. This is what you're getting, and yeah, using my graphics card to do the work. It's where's my graphics card out? But yeah, I generated the whole thing locally like I showed you, and go try it out, I guess. Oh, and I still haven't recovered my files. So, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button. Do that stuff to feed the algorithm. And I will see you guys later.